Okay, I'm going to make a new document. I want it to be 6 by 6 inches at resolution 300. I'm going to say okay. I'm going to place my first image in here that I want to start with. So I'm going to go to File, Place Linked. That's what yours is going to say. And then I'm going to go to my desktop. I have a folder that's called Landscape Photos. And I want to start with this picture of this hiker. I'm going to say place and get it in there. I'm going to click enter, and right now it's a smart object, and I want to change my smart object to pixels so that I can fully edit it. So I'm going to have to go to image, layer again, rasterize, and then smart object. And now that icon went away. And I want to cut out my hiker, and I think the best choice is going to be my quick selection. So I'm going to do my quick selection. I'm going to put it so it's on the plus, and I'm just going to click and hold, and it's going to pick up the hard edge of the cliff. And I'm going to go up, and I'm going to try to get it to select the hiker, and all the way on the other side. Just trying to make sure it's all selected correctly. All right, I'm going to zoom in. What's cool about the quick selection tool is if it selects a little too much, I don't want that, so I'm going to go to my subtract with my minus. I'm going to make it a little bigger. And I'm going to take some of that away. It doesn't have to be completely perfect. I'm going to subtract the in between. It won't right this second. I'll figure it out later. Okay. Let me get that in there so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to make a mask, and it cut out everything except for my cliff and my hiker. You can see what's black got cut away, and what's white is still there. It's remaining. So I'm going to zoom in. Now you can really see what's in there. I'm going to go in there and select in between the arms. I'm going to switch to my magic wand tool. I'm going to click in there. My tolerance is really low. It's at a 5, which is why it's being really picky. So I'm going to raise it, maybe bring it up to 30. I'm going to click in there, click there. No, just kind of go back and forth. Okay, back on my layer mask. And I can actually go to my paint bucket, and if I dump black in there, boom, it deletes in between the arms. So now I can be really, really OCD. I can go in with my paintbrush tool, and I can start deleting some of those places with my brush tool. And I want to make it look clean and nice. So I'm just going to pause real quick, and then we'll keep going. Okay, so I just cleaned up a lot of the edges. Took a little time, so I paused it. So now I'm going to place another image. So I'm going to go File, and yours is going to say Place Linked. And I'm going to go ahead and find the next image that I want. That is the image of sort of this space, outer space scene. So I'm going to place it, and I'm going to click Return. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to go to my Move tool, and I'm going to make this much bigger. If you don't see your boundary box, you can always click Show Transform Controls, or you can do Command T. All right, I want to really utilize that part of the stars, so I just kind of enlarged it. Right now I lost my hiker because it's behind the space image. So I'm going to rasterize, layer, rasterize smart object, and I'm going to drag it down below where the hiker is. Now I'm going to click back on my hiker and move him down below. I want to make sure that I don't see those. That's already looking pretty good. I'm noticing one thing. My hiker has kind of a weird halo around him, sort of a white outline around the edges. So instead of going in with the paintbrush tool and painting out the edge, it's going to be really tedious. I'm going to show you a trick. I'm going to go ahead and hold Option and go directly to the mask. I'm going to take my magic wand and click on the white. Everything that's white is selected. I'm going to click on Refine Edge. And I want to go ahead and make my selection kind of a little more precise. So I'm going to subtract. -2, I think might work. And I want it to kind of change the smooth. So maybe of a 1 in the smooth, and maybe a little bit of a feather of the 2. Try those numbers. You can kind of see that that's giving you a little bit of a preview. It's kind of hard to tell, but just go ahead and click OK. It doesn't really look like anything's changed the way it's selected. So I'm going to hold Option. I'm going to get out of my mask mode, and now I'm going to zoom in. So if you look really closely, you'll see that in some places my selection got kind of sucked in a little bit. See how the inside of the sweater is kind of now on the outside? That's exactly what I wanted. So now I'm on my mask, and I'm going to go to my paintbrush tool. And if I start painting with black, it's actually going to start deleting what's on the inside of the selection. I want to actually delete on the outside, right over here. So I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to go to Select, Inverse. Instead, when I start to erase, you'll see that the halo is actually starting to go away. And the guy is being protected. That's what I want. Okay, so I'm zooming out so you can see how quickly this can be done. I don't need to be careful at all because I'm in that layer mask and the selection is protecting him, so it's not going to get rid of anything. So I'm just re-going over that edge. Should be getting rid of that tiny halo. So it seems like that's working pretty well. Yeah. There's a couple spots, you got to get real close to see it. So to get out of the selection, Command D is going to deselect. That looks pretty good. The white halo is gone. And some areas, couple areas, you might need to go back in, right by the hand. So I lowered the size of my brush tool, and I'm just going to still go in there and erase it a little bit more. Okay, zooming out. That looks pretty cool already. I have a hiker looking out in outer space. I'm going to paste one more, so I'm going to go File, Place Linked, and I'm going to go ahead and get the image of like the mountains there. So I'm going to place that, and I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Click Return and Layer, Rasterize, Smart Object. Okay, I really want to cut out the sky. I don't really want that, so I'm going to go to the quick selection. I'm going to zoom in, make sure it's on the plus. And I'm going to start kind of selecting what I want to stay in the picture. I don't think I want that bottom part. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. Go to my minus, or you can hold your Option key. Okay, now I still want to get that bottom part. So I'm going to go to the plus. I'm going to get the bottom part. That is what I want. Okay, so I'm going to make my mask. All right, that's that. I want those to go behind. So I'm going to drag the layer down. And this is really what I want. It's kind of creating a feeling of depth. I have a foreground with the hiker, a middle ground with the mountains, and then the space and the stars are in the background. One thing that I could do if I really want to blend it, kind of the mountains into the background, it's really easy. And go to my paintbrush, and I could choose a soft brush. And I can basically go to my mask layer, and I'm going to go ahead and make my brush bigger. If I switch to white, remember how white restores things? So I'm gonna go ahead and do kind of like a misty effect. I'm gonna restore very gently the mountains that are back there using that specific brush, that soft brush. And I can go a little bit bigger and it'll give me a little bit of a softer feather effect. This is what's happening. All right, you can see the mask view. You can kind of see how it's softer up there when I just select that. It's creating a nice edge. All right, I just want to do one more thing. I'm going to go to File, Place Linked. And I'm going to go ahead and do one more thing. I really like that sort of monument there. And that rock monument looks pretty cool. So I'm going to move it just in the front so I can see what I'm doing for now. I'm going to rasterize my layer. So again, layer, rasterize, smart object, the icon will disappear. And I really just want the mountains. So I'm going to go ahead and use my quick selection because that's the best one to do for now. No. Okay, so I'm going to make my mask. All right, now I'm going to move it. Now I'm going to drag this layer down below, so it's behind that little area there. With that nice mist that I created, it kind of looks like the mountain is behind that. So it blends nicely. Okay, one more thing that I really want to unite everything. I'm going to make a new layer and I'm going to go ahead and go to my gradient tool. It's hiding behind the paint bucket. And I'm going to click on that. And I can actually choose what color I want the gradient to be. So I'm going to double click the black button there. I'm going to select a kind of a red or an orange that's sort of matching the picture. I'm going to click OK. And then if I click right there, I kind of want a deep red. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. I'm going to go ahead and click. And maybe I want it to go that direction. So I have this gradient that I just made. And I think I want it to kind of be more like that. Now I'm going to change the blending mode of the layer. I'm just going to kind of play around with it. Overlay looks pretty cool. Looks a little intense. Ooh, the color. That looks pretty cool. So you can play around with all of those and see soft light. And if I just toggle it a little bit so you can kind of see what it looks like with it or without it. Maybe I don't want it so intense. So I can lower the opacity level. So it's a little bit less extreme, a little more transparent. And that really helps. Kind of unites everything in there, makes it kind of cohesive. A little bit of a red glow. I'm going to bring it up maybe slightly. I really feel like it looks like maybe you're on a different planet. So it looks very dreamlike. All right. A few more tips and tricks. How to cut things out. How to properly layer things. I think that'll really work. All right.